Hey everyone, what's up? I guess we're doing this. Welcome to a live stream. Happy Friday, I guess. Uh, I've got some playoff baseball going on in the background, although I am very much in tune with this, so don't worry about that, I guess. If you're worried about that, you're probably not worried about that. What I thought I wanted to do is I just kind of wanted to go through a couple plays. Like, every single week I go through basically every passing play, looking at passing concepts from the previous week's Packers game, and I distribute those through a bunch of different sites. I've got Cheesehead one going up. I got a Packer Report one that goes up. One just went out today. I'm actually going to go through one of those here in a second. But I don't go through all of them. Some of them I hold back for different reasons, or some of them just aren't very interesting. Well, I had two that I really wanted to get to, and I figured a video might be the best way to do that. And I thought, instead of a video, let's do a live stream, because that's fun. People like live streams. And so I thought what I would do is I would do that. I'm hoping to do this a little bit going forward. Probably not every week, but just every now and then, likely kind of unannounced, because I don't know, I'm bad at planning out my time mainly. But we're going to look at these, just a couple plays from this past week. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we're going to look at one. The last one we're going to look at is a play action bootleg that I actually covered in the Packer Report article today. But I wanted to get into a little more depth. Not that specific one, but kind of what you can look for that going forward. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So we're going to look at a play. I got some banners up here. There we go. All right, so first play here. This is 3rd and 8. 2:55 remaining in the second quarter. Packers up 13-10. This is an incomplete pass, and this actually was covered on the broadcast a little bit, but I did want to go through it a bit here, just because from this angle you can kind of see things a little better. So we've got trips to the right over here, single man over here, and we're going to look at this. There's a pre-snap shift here. But we do have like a single high, but that's going to shift here in a second, and then it's shotgun with a single back. So we're going to run this here real quick. And the reason I'm kind of doing this as a live stream instead of just a video is because if anyone has questions on these, if it's going to be a little more interactive. So questions about this, questions about other things, feel free to drop it in the comments, and I will try to then look at those comments without breaking up the flow of this thing too much. But we'll see. I'm an old person, so I don't know how good I would be at this. But all right, so I got it here, and I actually marked this wrong, and then I didn't fix it because I just noticed it. It's not this guy that drops back. It's this guy here that drops back. So it is still going to be single high, but it's single high with this guy dropping back. And again, this is 3rd and 8, so that puts the sticks, like right up there, I guess, which I guess we'll see in a second. So we're going to roll this here, and we can see that kind of shift. Rodgers sees it coming. It looks like pressure off the edge here, and you've got this guy kind of leaning in. What Rodgers is looking at, and you've got this kind of everyone running diverts off from the trip side over here. He's looking to hit someone quick, looking to hit someone hot, because there's a bunch of space back here. This is one thing I like to talk about a lot. This is something that I not stole from, but it's Chris Brown, the football writer, not the other Chris Brown. One of the things he talks about looking for when he watches games is you look for the green, you look for the grass, you look to see where's open pre-snap, and you look to see how could the offense try to attack that, and how does the defense try to cover that up. Well, right here, this guy's dropping back, which means you've got green here. So he's kind of looking hot on the inside here if pressure comes. So if pressure comes, which it does, and you can see here, 2 guys come off the edge, Rodgers sees it, Rodgers looking over there. So he's looking to hit hot out of the slot here, right off the end of the line. But, and this is designed, this kind of blitz is designed to do that. You're throwing, traditionally you get a blitz, you throw where those blitzers come from. You throw hot because there's no one there. You're throwing in that vacated area. But you're sending these 2 guys here underneath to kind of undercut that. That's really hard to see, because if Rodgers is looking here, if you've got a quarterback looking here, it's really hard to see from the other side. You're not really looking there, you're looking here. But he's able to notice this, and then he throws up over the top. So he looks there. He sees this guy dropping back. If he throws this, thing's knocked away or picked off likely. So instead of doing that, he checks, and then he throws this little, kind of like this little transition go, which is this throw he talked about with Kyle Brandt as far as one of his favorite ones. It's a go route that you throw quicker so you can get a little lower. So basically, he knows pressure is coming from this side, knows he doesn't have time. His first check isn't open, so he tosses to MVS over the top quickly because he knows he probably doesn't have time, and it falls incomplete. Still, really, I thought that really good defense by the Saints there. Really good kind of deception, but also just a tremendous play by Rodgers to be able to see that and know that, okay, if I can't check to this guy, see these guys coming, I'm throwing deep and just taking a shot with my guy. Doesn't work out, but I love that idea. So that's the first play. The second play we're going to look at, and I should say my intention with these is to go like, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes, probably not long, although I talk a lot, so, and there's no one here to stop me, so I might be going longer. We'll see. All right, our second play here. I always like to throw these up for context. Sometimes it matters and sometimes it does not. But I wanted to throw that. I just like to throw that in there. So it's 1st and 10, 6:36 remaining in the fourth. Packers up 3. This is a really fun concept. This is one I really, really like just because it's very, very fun. All right. So we've got a little jet sweep motion, little window dressing. And then we've got this kind of vertical thing here with then we got a release off the side. I love, one of the reasons I want to talk about this, I absolutely love these two tight end looks to one side with them releasing in different ways. Especially if you kind of sell the run ahead of time, it can really get the defense looking heavy to that side, and you slip one or both of those guys out. So I already kind of love the dual tight end hand of the dirt look over here, and then you're kicking both of them out there as well. So we're going to do that, and we'll kind of see how this reacts. So you're looking now for jet sweep, as I'm sure everyone knows. We'll talk about it because that's why we're here. Jet sweep, what you're looking for is you're looking to spread the defense horizontally. You're spreading them out here, which then, again, if you're attacking the green, if you're looking for those spots, you're spreading out, and then you're trying to hit them where they're not. You're looking to hit a seam, hit them in between. You're widening the field, and then you can hit them in between there. We're going to talk about that again here in a second. But it's one of the things that jet sweep can do. Now, it didn't work for the Packers a whole lot last year because they're running jet sweeps with Geronimo Allison, which is not going to threaten anybody. But then even beyond that, they didn't actually do it very often. So, I mean, the first week this season, they, pitched a jet sweep. I don't know how many times, like 4 to 5 times, I'd say. So that gets teams thinking, okay, they're willing to do this, and not only willing to do that, but they're also effective doing that. So you start seeing that more and more. It's also more effective than it was last year because you have Irvin doing it instead of Allison, but also they've showed a willingness to actually pitch that jet sweep thing. So you're widening them out here, and then you've got, okay, this guy takes inside. This guy goes up the seam here. You got this guy in the flat, which means it's Sternberger there, wide open from his release off the end of the line. And Rodgers hits him. And Rodgers kind of goes back shoulder on him because of the placement of the safety here. If this goes up over the top, it's picked, it's incomplete, or Sternberger gets lit up. So he throws back shoulder. Sternberger turns back, makes a catch, gets laid out. Really, really nice concept. I love anything kind of running up the seam there. But they do this a lot. There's a couple other concepts they'll run this with as well, and you can kind of see what they're doing here. I guess, yeah, there we go. So if you run a guy up, run a guy up, run a guy out. So you're looking to essentially split and then hit him in between. So really, really fun concept. And they'll run this from a couple different looks. I really, really like this one. So the last one we are going to get into is one that I talked about over on Packer Report today. So on Packer Report today, and this one, it's less this play itself and what this means going forward in terms of the looks they give it. So over on Packer Report, I did 6 play action bootlegs that the Packers ran this past week. It's a staple of any offense that essentially runs outside zone, that can run outside zone. So you see this a lot with Shanahan. Obviously, this is done with Green Bay. They don't run it as much as they did this past weekend. I counted at least 6, maybe 7 instances this past weekend. Incredibly, incredibly effective. And so we'll talk about that for a second, but I also want to talk about some of the variations that we didn't see this past weekend. So the general concept is you run, I don't know, they don't always run jet sweep, but you're essentially doing play action one way and your bootleg out the other way. So they're running play action this way, bootleg out the other, and then usually you'll have a levels concept of some side on the backside. You'll have, for here, you've got to go clearing out. That's why one of the things I loved about this past week is they ran out of a couple different looks. So this time they have a go, and then you've got this underneath. So usually what you'll always have is a clear out, and sometimes this clear out is an out. Then you have this other kind of dig, kind of crosser over here, and then a flat crosser. Pretty much always in PA boot, that's what you're going to have. Now what you have here, and so we'll see what ends up happening. He takes a shot. This is big play Lazard. He goes up over the top. The outcome of this specific play does not matter for our purposes today, but it's a good look. So again, this you ran a go. Sometimes you can run an out. They ran more or less the same variation of this 6 times last week. Now, sometimes there's jet sweep, sometimes there's no jet sweep. Sometimes the guy on the outside where Lazard was, sometimes he ran, like a 20-yard out. Sometimes he ran a go route, but it was pretty much always the same. There's very little variation in terms of some of those things. I'm going to take this banner down because we are not talking about this play anymore. But what this can set up, and this is the only time this past week they ran this specific route here, and this is what I want to focus on right here. Probably for too long. The Marcedes Lewis is running what is commonly referred to, or what I've seen referred to as a slam route. So what he's doing is he blocks down. You can see him blocking down, and then he'll release into the flat. And we can see what this does here, and it becomes more powerful if you do a couple other things with it as well. So we'll see this block down, and then the release out. So you can see what this does here, because you've got this guy here who has crashed on the edge to take away the run, which now that it's play action, there's not a run. He's then coming out on the bootleg. These guys have all float over, that seems correct, for the run, which leaves space here. So what you can have if something downfield is not open, you've got this little slam route open, where instead of throwing to the flat out here, you've got these little spots that are vacated based on a horizontal stretch, and you throw back to here. And now he's got not only this, he's got a little lane to work with. You see this a ton with the Niners do this. When I was looking at the Rams do a ton of this. Packers will do this to some extent, but not a bunch. But this is what you can do. Now, a couple things you can do with this, and that's kind of what I want to talk about for the last couple minutes here. So, again, slam route. You're blocking down. Now, sometimes the way they'll do this play action bootleg stuff, a lot of times what they'll do, in fact, this may have been the only time this past week they didn't do it, is you'll have a tight end over on the right side, over on the play action side, that will sneak under the line here. And that usually works as your flat route. And that works because that if you're running this outside zone to this right side, a tight end coming this way to block is hitting that edge. He's essentially shutting down backside pursuit. And so during a run play, that action is also the exact same. You're running that for a purpose. You're running that for a reason. So that's not a key. That's not a tip off or anything. So generally what you'll see with a lot of these, tight end over this side, running over this way, releasing into the flat. Now, imagine that with me, because that does not happen. So imagine Tanyan or Sternberger or DeGuara when he's healthy. Actually, my hope would be this man here, Lewis in this instance, that this is DeGuara. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Tight end running into the flat. Well, now, when Lewis releases, where is he? I'll just run it from here. When Lewis releases, you've got a flat guy here, right? You got a flat guy here. They'll run this quite a bit. So this guy will crash on the flat, or this guy will crash on the flat, which leaves that slam wide open, like more open than this. You got more of an angle to run after the catch because you've got that other flat right over here. The other thing you can do with this, that's one of my absolute favorite variations on this that we haven't seen. I don't know if the Packers actually ran this last year. The Rams will run this occasionally. You can't run it too much, or else it loses its power a little bit. But where Lewis is blocking down here, now you've got guys keying in on this. So now what you'll do is you'll run the counter. I guess one of the counters to PA boot is, instead of Rodgers rolling this way and hitting these crossers coming across here, he's not running. You do this so it looks like a run, and you post up here. So instead of a true bootleg, you're moving the pocket, you're moving the launch point. And then instead of these guys coming over here, you get the defense to bite. You can do that. And then you reverse it. We saw Adams hit, I think, one of those last year, if I'm not mistaken. Had a couple of those last year with that kind of reverse. So Rodgers is like over here instead of over here, and then this guy here comes up over here. So that's something you can do with it. The other thing you can do with it, same basic idea, is Lewis blocking down, who will block down on a run play, who will then block down on this slam route, which we just saw, where he hits and then comes back out here. Now what he can do, and the Niners have hit this a handful of times, and it's been amazing. And the Rams have hit this a handful of times. It's always a big gain because you're not really looking for it. Is you fake this block down, and then instead of releasing to the flat, you continue up and around. Because we'll see. I'm gonna run this here in a second. We're gonna see what ends up happening in the defense. If you sneak out here, this defense, okay, you've run the play action, you've got them biting. Now it looks like the play action rollout, which again, the Packers ran 6 times and were very effective with this past week. So Rodgers looking like he's going to roll out, is going to get the defense moving over to this side because you've put that on tape. You've shown that you're going to do that. You've shown a willingness to do that. So now we're going to watch what happens to the backside defense over here. As this guy comes across, this gets vacated. So now Lewis, if instead of coming back on the slam, you sneak him out here, you've got a lot of room with that backside. So that's something that I'm going to keep an eye on going forward. That's a very powerful variation to this. And now with them having run this thing, 6 times in one game, and they've run it multiple times every single game, you're going to have teams looking for that a little bit. So it's something to keep an eye on. It's a big play that's going to happen at some point this season, maybe soon, maybe not. I have no idea, but they are going to break this out, this little sneak out or even a secondary flat. So just a couple things to look out for when you see some of this. So that's all I got for today. So we looked at 3 different plays. I hope you all found this enjoyable. Like I said, I'm hoping to do this a little bit more going forward. I'm going to do a little promotion at the bottom. It's not really a promotion. I had a Patreon. I stopped doing a Patreon because, I don't know, it was stressing me out. But if you feel like giving money, please don't feel like you have to. If you feel like giving money, I do have my Venmo and PayPal down at the bottom. So if you feel like doing that. If there's any comments, if anyone has any questions or anything, please let me know. If there's any plays going forward in future weeks that you want to see get some of this treatment, if I don't write about them, I can see about doing that here. Like I said, I don't really have a whole lot of plans as far as doing this week to week, but I will be popping up and doing these occasionally. And actually, let's see. Jacob Crum here says the Rams hit the exact thing to tight end on Sunday. I did not see that. I didn't get a chance to watch that Rams game too much, so I need to go back and take a look for that. It can be a huge play. So. Guys, for whoever it was that ended up joining me, I appreciate you joining me this week. I hope to see you back again at some point. And hit me up on Twitter if you have anything else. And I guess I'll talk to you later. That sounds good.